Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 5, Episode 4, A Life Earned. Now I'm just going to jump straight to the end of this episode and the promo because it was a really cool scene. When Fitz showed up, I was super surprised. Like, I was already standing up doing something random, and he comes in, he has, like, the cool mask and stuff, which there's another person that had the same mask, so I guess that doesn't mean anything. They're just, like, normal space masks, because I thought, especially, like, when Deke first showed up when they did the promo, I thought it was like, oh, it's like a Nova Corps thing. It's like, oh, no, totally different because they're like way far in the future and all this other stuff. But he comes in, he's talking about, oh, she's the destroyer of worlds, and he takes his mask off and it's Fitz. I legitimately just spun it. I was just like, I just put my arms out and just spun in a circle because I was like, I don't know what to do right now. Like, that just really caught me off guard that we got to see Fitz show up, and the way that he showed up brings up a ton of questions, but it also says a lot because him being kind of brought to that position, him being a human, which we don't really know the species and all that stuff of the other creatures, because a lot of them look human. Like the woman that Cassius doesn't like, she basically looks completely human except for the fact that she has the red eyes. So he was probably just lying, and they don't know that he's human or whatever. But the fact that he was there says that he has some sort of power. Like, it makes it seem as though he showed up, like he knew where they went to in the future, and he was like, all right, I'll show up like a month or a couple months ahead of that, and then kind of build up my own position in the future. And then once they show up, that's when everything will play out, which we obviously know he had to have shown up before that. And he doesn't, obviously it's the actor, so he doesn't look older or anything like that. But I have to wonder, considering the fact that, he was at that gathering of people, vying to buy Daisy, he has to be in some sort of great position. So he had to have, kind of been putting in the work, unless he's been jumping through time to be like, I'm going to do this thing, and then I'm going to jump forward 2 years, and then I'll, instantly collect on it and have a ton of money or something crazy like that. So, of course there's a ton of questions. We'll have to just kind of wait and see how that all plays out. And I'm sure they'll go through the whole process in the next episode. But, the first guy, Virgil, when the team first got there, he had that letter from Fitz, which was like, oh, that seems super, super old. But I guess it was just wrinkled and stuff because, like I said, Fitz, it's not like they got a different actor to play, like, older Fitz or anything. It's still him. So I am curious how far, I guess technically, how far back in time he actually got in the future. It's a weird way to put it, but, he jumped a little bit less ahead of them. So he was like, all right, they're already there in the future. I'll, give him like an extra year or something. And then, he builds himself up as someone who's prominent within like this weird society / community. And that's how he got to be there at the end of this episode. But that was a great moment because I've been saying that since the beginning. I was like, man, I want to see where Fitz is. Like, what is going on with Fitz? Like, is he dead? Is he alive? Is he going to, show up as an old character where he is still alive in this version of the future? All this other stuff. So we get to see him. It's still young Fitz and everything. His story does not take place back in time, which is what I thought they were going to do with him, where it was like that was his storyline to try to save them and get them back, from the future or something like that. So, that is not the case. He's in the future with them. So I'm definitely excited for next week's episode. We also get to see the return of an old character. I can't think of that dude's name. All I remember is Bobby's name, but I can't think of his name for some reason. But we get to see him make a return, so that should be pretty funny in the next episode. But the rest of the episode was pretty fun too. Of course, Daisy being captured, she realizes what the plan is for Cassius wanting to make a ton of money and then just get rid of the whole, like the entire facility and just kill everybody and just blow it up and everything. He could just leave them, technically, if he wanted to. It's like, I'll just leave. But instead, he's going to blow the whole thing up because, bad guys. But yeah, Daisy ends up figuring that out. She puts on the little display. She ends up teaming up with this guy who can both read minds and project his mind to other people, which was a really great scene because Cassius having Daisy and Jemma actually tell him the story. I thought that was a cool scene because he's like, okay, why don't you tell me the story and don't spare any details? And so she's telling the story, and he kind of looks over at Jemma and is like, let me just slide right in front of her face so you can't read her lips. And I was like, that was actually, that's just really smart. So I was like, how is this going to play out? And I figured there would have to be something where, he would, the other guy, I completely forgot his name, but the guy who could read minds, I'm like, there has to be something where he's telling her what to say or something like that, because otherwise they're going to get killed. So it was an interesting moment. I guess technically they could have been busted, but he wouldn't have killed him anyway, or at least not Daisy. I don't know about Jemma, but he certainly wouldn't have killed Daisy because he would have wanted the money. But ultimately, the guy ends up helping him out, and it's like, all right, well, it's just the two of you, but they are still worried because they now fully know this prophecy, which that's another big question with the fact that it's supposed to be this prophecy. What in the world did Fitz do in the past that made it like a prophecy that they have to be afraid of? Because, like I said, if it was that long ago that it was first brought up, Fitz had to have been jumping through time. Like, there's no way that he showed up, like a year ago, and poof, suddenly it's like a prophecy. Like, he had to have set that up. He had to have been jumping through time, or just had messages like, "Hey, make sure this goes out at this time," so that it seems like this super old prophecy and stuff like that. Because obviously, he knew before he jumped to the future, he knew exactly what time the rest of the team would show up. So he made it basically a prophecy that Shield would help save the future and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to getting more answers on that because, like I said, there's like so many elements thrown into the team getting there, people knowing about it, and like how old the letter looked considering Fitz is actually still there. It's like, well, why did the letter look like it was decades old and weird stuff like that? And it being a full-on prophecy, that just makes it seem like Fitz either made sure stuff was kind of done in order, or he was jumping through time. Like he found a way to jump through time until he got to where he needed to be like, all right, this is where the team's going to pop up, and now I can start rescuing them since I kind of laid the groundwork to save everybody with this whole crazy prophecy and freaking out the Kree and all that stuff. So excited to get more answers on that, but it was just really cool, Daisy's storyline and her going through and finding out the truth about everything that was going to kind of take place. Then, of course, we have the rest of the team. Very good stuff with Mac and Yo-Yo. I knew it was going to be brought up, of course, her putting the gun on the one guy where he's, dead on the planet now, dead on Earth. And Mac was, a bit upset about that, and so they go through the process like, I saved your life, and I would, do it again. And, Mac being like, almost holier than thou a little bit. Like sometimes it's just a little annoying where he's just like so stern against any sort of violence, and it's just like, all right, whatever. I was still on Yo-Yo's side even when it happened. I'm like, she saved potentially like 3 lives compared to like this one dude. So like that's just how you do it. 4 lives really because it was the team. Um, Plus the other woman who I was surprised didn't show up at all in this episode. It was kind of weird, like she was just not there whatsoever. But she saved like 4 lives compared to 1, so it was like I'm totally on her side. But they go through the process of falling behind this guy, and it's like, all right, well he needs to pay up. So we'll kind of freak him out, and Yo-Yo says like maybe we can just talk to him and freak him out without having to do anything. And then when they get to him, that's where we have like the 2 stories kind of coming together, where the 2 of them are going to talk, and then we have Coulson, May, and Deke going to like I think it was like level 34, 39, something like that. And so as they're going through this lab and everything, they end up finding this baby just as Mac and Yo-Yo find out that this mysterious package that's supposed to be like this super secret thing is actually a baby. Is actually this kid. And Mac is making these threats and stuff like, we'll take the package and throw it in the crusher and stuff like that, and he doesn't know what he's saying. And of course that makes this guy upset where it's like, what type of monster would threaten, to kill a baby? It's like people like you that make it difficult here. And, of course he hits him with the triggers where it's like, you don't deserve to have a kid because you probably screw it up. And of course Mac loses it and he beats the crap out of the guy. And it was like, it was an emotional moment for him. And we, have him talk to Yo-Yo, of course, where it's like, maybe he's right. Maybe I was too far gone. But he says it because and it's a very interesting, issue for him to have the loss of his daughter in like 2 different ways, but he feels worse for the daughter that was fake than the daughter that was real because such a long time. Like I don't think I ever realized this before, and I do believe they told the story and I just forgot. But he mentions like she died and I had to go into her nursery, and when he said that I was like, did they talk about the fact that she was a baby still? Because I don't remember them saying that, which they probably did, but it was just like I don't remember them specifying the fact that she was still a baby with the nursery, because when he said that I instantly thought, oh crap, like I basically thought exactly what he said, which was he had literally a baby that died, and you had to go into the nursery and it took months, he says. But when he was in the framework, he had a child. That wasn't just a baby that didn't make it. That was like his daughter for years, within the framework. And it was like, man, I don't think I ever truly realized that. Like, I don't think, like I said, I don't remember. Because I know when they first talked about it, that was like almost 3 seasons ago at this point, when they first had him tell that actual story. So I don't remember if they mentioned at that time that his daughter was actually just a baby. But when he said it in this episode, I was like, wow, I really, like I said, like it's hard to say. Like either way, the impact was the same for me. I just don't know if it was the same for everyone because it's like I don't remember if that exact detail, like her age, was an actual detail within the story about how she was still just a baby. But it was just a crazy moment where he has to deal with that, where he feels like a horrible father because he mourned the loss of this program child than his actual baby. And it was just like they're both real in a different sense. Like she does the best that she can to help him. It's just like a crazy little moment. And then of course the dude comes up and is like, you fit right in, like as a monster and stuff, which is like the antithesis of who Mac wants to be. Is seen as like the big brooding, tough guy. Like that's the opposite of what he always wants to be seen as. So it was definitely an emotional storyline for him as it kind of got to the end of the episode. But I really enjoyed that. Little mystery that's kind of left wide open for us is May. We don't really know what in the world happened there. I assume that she's not dead because that would just be crazy. Unless there was like a 2-second sequence that I missed. I'm pretty sure when it came back from commercial, it was just the woman with like the 2 balls. I totally don't remember her name. I'm terrible at names for anyone who's just randomly finding me. Suck at names, always have. But yeah, the woman she's just walking down the hallway. We don't really get to see what happened or anything like that. So I'm like, I don't know what that means. If she's got some crazy weird plan going on, there's like a secret agenda behind Cassius's back. So I don't know what in the world's going on there. We just don't really see the end of that conflict. Like they have a fight. May seems to have lost. She definitely did. And it's like, all right, well, this woman's going to try to kill her, but we don't see what happens. We don't see if anyone saves her, which I assume they don't because the woman still goes back to Cassius. So it's not like they teamed up with May, like someone teamed up with May and then knocked her out or something. So I don't know what the deal is. I'm not entirely sure what's happening here, but I'm excited to get some answers. Hopefully we do. That's going to be like the big question. If they stick to Fitz's storyline in the past, we may not get to see what happened to May next week at all. So that should be interesting to see. But either way, I'm excited for it. Definitely a fun episode. So looking forward to how things are about to play out going forward, and the whole plan of Cassius destroying everything and what Fitz is going to try to do to save everybody, his team, and just every innocent person that's there. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. Thought the episode was really fun in general. So please let me know what you guys thought about this one because it was pretty cool. It definitely some cool moments, and then it led up to like, here we go. Like this is where we're getting to. But want to know what you guys thought about this episode. So please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts about it, your least favorite parts about it. And as much as this episode definitely has some cool stuff in it, I would love to know your theories on what we're going to see in this next episode. Like, did Fitz, was he jumping through time? Or was it just he went from the past to the present? He just left things kind of in order. Like, hey, when this happens, do this. When this happens, do this. So I would love to know your theories on how he got to where he is. Also, I forgot to mention this because it was kind of a quick thing, but we find out that supposedly, I'm pretty sure he was telling the truth because it just makes it more dramatic, but Deke mentions that when Coulson played the recording for him, that was his dad, who should have been dead because he was left on the planet Earth, but somehow he survived. So I thought that was a cool little reveal, which of course they still don't trust him, totally makes sense, but I'm sure it'll be true, and we'll find out that his dad was alive and there are other people. Who knows? Maybe his mother's still alive too. That would be an interesting twist. I kind of doubt that because he mentions like that's when Cassius was like first killing people, so I don't think his mother's alive. Because I would assume when he says that that's when people were like first sent to Earth. So they still could have survived, especially considering it was a group at the time. They could have survived as well, but we just don't know. We'll have to wait and see. It'll be like a crazy happy reunion for Deke, where it's like, oh man, both my parents are alive. That's nuts. But mostly, I want to know what you guys think about Fitz's storyline, but also want to know, if you guys have any theories so far. We haven't really gotten much on, how they could survive, what that could mean, if they could have possibly built anything useful to help, fight against the Kree or anything like that. But there must be something. There was contact going on, so there's got to be some plan. There's something going on there. But I would love to know your theories on the Fitz storyline and what answers we're going to get, and, what he's got planned, how you think it all is supposed to play out, or how he already set it up to play out. And I would love to know your theories on what the deal is with Earth and how everything's playing out there. If you think Fitz is involved with the people from Earth, I would love to know that. It makes sense to me that he would be, but he would also have to. He is Fitz, so he's a genius. But there's just so much that he would have to do to be able to get in touch with those people from Earth and not be kind of followed or anything like that. Like, he has to build up this specific reputation to be where he is by the end of this episode. So that's kind of a big part of where all the theories come from. So I would love to know yours. And like I said, definitely want to know what you guys thought about this episode in general. So please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.